Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rocky. Can you hear us well, Rocky?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good.
I could have made it to this meeting today because they canceled the ferries to the island. So,
Oh. Are you on the island right now?
no, I came to go to the island, but they canceled all the ferries today and tomorrow, most likely too.
Oh, I see.
So
Is
I'm
the
on.
weather? The wind? The wind?
Yeah, it's the wind, and I guess tomorrow is supposed to be 50 to 60 mile per hour winds.
Right. A little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and mute you, Rocky. There you go.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, I was just saying I was gonna go ahead and mute you.
How is our sales?
Okay.
Weird.
Some days are just nothing.
What was open? How was open house for you?
It's good.
Good.
It's good.
Open house was so weird. I swear the street looked empty. So
Jordan.
did you see, maybe everybody did. It was a show. They were finding.
I don't think they added lingered outside maybe as much. No.
I don't know. And if it was good for the merchants, it doesn't matter.
It might not just hold up.
Well,
Anyway,
weird.
I never made it outside to even see, so I don't really know.
Yeah. Well, we sold stuff.
I feel like we did. I mean, obviously I wasn't here last year, but I looked at numbers and I feel like we were pretty equivalent. The weird thing was both Petoskey and Harvard. The day of was actually busy. Where typically the day of open house is like dead.
It's not,
Because everybody's like
everybody's
waiting to come at
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
Both stores were really kind of busy during the day. And then they were like, why are you here?
Well, in Petoskey with the zoo, what was your open house like in Petoskey?
Crazy.
Downtown was
But we
nuts.
sold more in Harvard.
Misbehaved in, really? Misbehaved in Petoskey during open house.
What did they do?
There were a couple of broken human beings.
Oh, really?
Shocking, I know. Did you see the-
Yes, I did, actually.
Think about it.
First, we struggled with getting everybody here. We just had everybody here like December 2nd. And, cause I got.
Like all at the same time.
Yes.
In the-
It wouldn't be, I got a bunch of guys that are using loose time, so they're taking time off.
Yeah, but January, it should have,
Oh, January, no,
January.
yes, no, I was thinking of December. No,
No,
I'm good. No.
we would be looking at. Yeah, we come to you.
All right,
And that's perfect, donuts.
yeah, oh, yeah, well, yeah. We can talk about that.
But it would be a
Yes.
meet and greet,
Yeah.
and you'll sponsor, the police department will be the quote sponsor. And it'll be a chamber meet and
Yep.
greet at the police department.
Sounds good. Let me.
We're looking at that first Tuesday in January, which is the 3rd, so it's kind of like, whoa, but. Maybe that's good, because people haven't really gotten around the bus. We could do a different day.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Yep. All right, no, I will, mark my calendar, so what time is it in the morning?
we usually do 8 to 10, but we can modify to fit your needs.
No.
Because we'll make it, it's a special, in there. It's.
Yeah.
Because it'll be special.
I'll, yep.
Okay. Total flexibility is all you.
Yeah.
First copy of conversation.
You asked, I didn't.
They could-
They were really quick, so.
I know, when I said this morning, somebody goes. "Never been that way." Our first coffee of the new year is going to be at the police department.
You do.
Great.
I just gotta get it.
We just have to figure out what time. It's gonna be awesome. Hi, darling.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Andy.
Game dinner was a ball.
Wasn't it though?
Yeah, you know, we have to get more people to understand that it's not like this exclusive club and we can come.
It's like the what?
It's not an exclusive club. And people can come.
But perhaps it is. I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
But like next year, everybody has to invite a new person.
We've always hovered around.
That part.
Yeah.
Really,
We always,
yeah, the people know.
we always.
I mean, I can't make
Oh,
public
we
names
always-
for fancy offers.
They always fall into like a band
I can't
concert or something.
do
like
anything
that.
with that.
Or like
Right.
Margot that had 6 out of 7 events. that-
I usually reach out to anybody once.
No, there's always
So
something.
that's what I do.
we're all
I'm
gonna
like,
do.
I'm not reminding
But-
you 27,000 times, like, you know who it is, you have it.
It was on my calendar too. It was one of those,
I do mine weekly, you guys.
Weird.
Yours out.
and I didn't want to commit because then my dad would have game dinner Tuesday night, so we were trying to.
Oh, see, you're.
Pretty impressive.
Well,
We were able to.
Yeah.
Well, he was one of, yeah, like when it started however long ago. One of the, like now it's really different. But
It's always.
it was one of those weeks where we had to balance like.
tell him changes, okay?
Take me to calm, and I was like, if I go to
At least not yet, sorry.
Yeah.
fun.
It really is, and you need things.
You put in all the.
Okay, okay.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning. Good morning, Mr. Knapp.
Margo, we have a quorum.
Well, yes, a bear. You can call.
Well, it is after 8:30, so we probably should go ahead and get started. So, welcome. We might as well do a roll call.
All right,
Call it to order.
Tim Knapp,
Here.
Matt Bugera. Jody Eubank. Here. Amy Gillard. Nikki Law.
Here.
Ella, I know is gone. So we do have a quorum.
Doing great. All right, so hopefully everybody had a chance to look at the meeting minutes. And we'd love to approve the meeting minutes from November.
I make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I,
All opposed? Great, the minutes carry for the great minute taking we had, so thank you, everybody. Now is the perfect time for public comment. Thanks for coming, guys. Any comments from the public?
My comments brief. I'm leaving shortly. Today's my shopping day, but does anybody have any issues or questions?
No, I'm at large
Can
and
you-
about 10.5.
I'll see what I can find for you.
Okay.
Costco, in the clearance aisle.
Oh, yeah.
That's a 10.5.
That's true.
Oh.
This size. Anyway, Jody, you had some.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could shop for me as well. Those were our comments.
All in like 8.5. Wow, all right.
Oh,
What a sweet man, he's smart.
small.
He is, isn't
Been
it?
there for a long time. No, I said, thank you.
Did you want a paper copy?
No, I'm okay.
Have fun shopping.
Thank you.
No, we're good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know that even should make public record, but
I know.
okay.
Okay, so then let's jump into the downtown enhancement committee. I mean promotions committee, sorry, for the check mark.
You're moving too fast. Okay, so the promotions committee has met and we just continue to work on Ice Fest. We're making a lot of great progress. And we'll be meeting again next week. So we've reached that point where we're meeting regularly, every couple weeks at least. So we do have Rock on Ice confirmed for the event. We have sleigh rides confirmed, and Birchwood has said that they would be a sponsor for the sleigh ride. So that's great news. So they really enjoyed that. We also have received the Petoskey Area Visitors Bureau grant for $2,000. So thank you to Amy for submitting that and getting that in. And let's see, as far as major sponsors go, I know that between the covers and Festival of the Book are combining together to do, you know, a larger sponsorship. I think you Polished and Stafford's has talked about that as well. Bernali's has confirmed as a major sponsor for the Ice Throne. Boyne has confirmed that they also want to be a Blizzard sponsor, and that they will get back to me as far as you know, what they want to do. If the committee members and everybody can start contacting businesses again on the spreadsheet, you know, just they've all received their sponsorship packets, but now it's time to kind of remind everybody to start picking their sculptures and getting those in. We've sent out the chili cook-off registrations we have starting to get a couple participants, but we're just starting to hear back on that. So, and the Holy Child Community Center is confirmed for the date. So we're making good progress. I'm meeting with Diane Hansel to talk about our radio advertising for the event, and I think that will probably start maybe second week of January, something like that. And then I think, as we said, Topo Nexus is on for kid activity. And I don't know if you guys have anything else to add to what's happening.
From the minutes last time, have we looked into the insurance?
Yes, Nick is doing that. Nick is getting the insurance rider from the city, and then we still need to get the insurance rider from Highland Roots, and then we'll combine them up, but we'll have, yeah.
Well, I don't think we're gonna hear much till the first of the year.
That's what I was thinking, probably from the restaurants, they're probably needing to get through the holiday season, and then we can probably start following up with them in January is what I would probably recommend.
Or maybe anybody, because if you think about how much personally, you know, we have to do for Christmas.
Well, it sounds like that's moving along nicely. Great job, everybody. Anything else from Ice Fest or other promotions? All right, so now we get to go into Downtown Enhancement Committee.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, let's back up to promotions real quick, but
Yeah,
I was gonna put a plug out for the mayor, who has the boardwalk fundraiser on Friday.
yes. Boardwalk fundraiser, I believe it's $100 to attend. You go and there's heavy appetizers, cash bar.
And the pistol whips, apparently.
Oh, really?
Which, yeah,
Yes, correct,
I've never heard of a band in New York.
I have not.
yes.
And that's a great band. I saw them
Yep.
at Bernali's on the outside area. So that's really great, a great event. I want to go for sure. So it should be a lot of fun. And that also is going towards a matching grant that's out there too, if I'm correct, right? So somebody did $100,000 match. So if whatever can be raised towards that, they match up to that amount. So if anybody wants to come and write a check for 100,000, that would be wonderful.
You're the finance man.
Okay, so great. Thanks for
Sorry.
putting that plug out there, Jody. All right, so now we're moving to downtown enhancement.
Okay, so we're the downtown enhancement committee slash, well, the downtown enhancement committee met, but more, at this point, everything's focused on the Merchants Walkway, and the Merchants Walkway committee met. And at that meeting, the Nolan family shared their design with everyone as far as what their landscaper had worked on, which was keeping it kind of in line with what, the elements, and so we discussed it, and we just added some elements, and we talked about different things that we wanted to include, and I did ask them, they said they would go back. I did talk to Shannon, they weren't able to go back and get another design to us yet. I will now take kind of the elements and all of this that we've discussed and talk to OHM, our designer, but let's see, I will, to look at the long range plan. So let me go ahead, actually. So everyone can see it. Okay. All right. So I did a proposal for the Merchants Walkway, and hold on here. So kind of did a little idea, write-up of what's the purpose of the Merchants Walkway, and that was to improve the currently dilapidated walkway plaza area which exists between Main and Bay Streets to make it a safe, functional, and usable area for residents, merchants, and visitors to the downtown. The DDA is working to create a pleasant space that can be used for walking along with multi-purpose use within the central business district. A little history. In 1985, the Harbor Springs DDA/city was deeded several easements and properties making up the Merchants Walkway area. At that time, the purpose was to create a gathering space for local merchants, residents, and visitors. The area is made up of city-owned property and private properties with utility and pedestrian easements and landscape licenses. At that time, the area was renovated with concrete and brick walkways, gardens, and a large fountain. In the preceding years, the walkway and fountain fell into disrepair, sporadically being maintained or repaired. The current Harbor Springs DDA decided to include the Merchants Walkway in their 2018-2022 development plan, and then we've continued it in our new plan going forward in 2023, as you all know. The DDA began discussions to renovate the area in 2022. The fountain was removed. After consulting with a landscape designer, a committee was formed to develop a cohesive plan for the area. So what is the plan now that we've gotten? We've met several times and we are able to kind of move forward. So after several committee meetings, along with the survey that I hope you all filled out, we are going to consult with our landscape designer, develop a complete and long-range plan using those elements, remove the old landscaping, resurface the plaza and walkway surfaces with concrete, stamped concrete, and or brick pavers, install new lighting to the area, implement new gardens, add features and enhancements to the walkway area, benches or water feature, and create a new name for the walkway and plaza that was discussed. What are some of the design elements now that have been highlighted both in the survey and in the committee? And they were low maintenance gardens, kind of keeping with the feel that's back there with hydrangeas and hostas and perennials, so that those could be, not too much maintenance there. A water feature wall and to block some of the utilities. And Cora generously, said that she'd be willing to donate some of the tiles that she makes to add to that water feature wall. And then concrete and stamped concrete for the walkway surfaces with brick paver as an add alternate, getting pricing on that. We've talked about new lighting back there, benches, standalone or incorporated into whatever the garden areas are there, along with an alleyway signage like out at Bay Street, and maybe, I don't know if you've all seen in Charlevoix, like the Hoop Skirt Alley, something like that, with the new name of the area, and down, to let people know that there is a walkway and that isn't just private property, which a lot of people kind of think that there are. Landscape lighting, other elements that have come up were historical signage, talking about some of the history of Harbor Springs, tree feature, and then a water fountain. So that's kind of where we're at. That's what I'm going to go back to Vanessa with these elements and the plan that's been kind of the plan that we've gotten, and then work as far as what we can now come up with that to create a good plan for the whole area. That's where we are with that.
Can I make a a comment about this. I know we have a lot of time into the survey. You have a lot of time into the survey and meeting with the committee, the Merchants Walkway Committee. Can we bring that back now to just the full board to make the rest of the decisions?
We would,
You need a motion for
we would
that?
need a motion for that.
I would motion that we bring it back to the DDA board to continue moving forward and kind of dissolve the Merchants Walkway Committee.
I mean, that's fine. You guys can do what you want to do. I just feel that if you're gonna do committee work, you're using the whole board as a committee now. I mean, you know, same way if any other of the boards I sit on, usually the committees come out and bring the design. Same way with the DDA finally brings something to the council, but yeah, I mean, there's a motion on the table. It's up to you guys. It's just my opinion that you're putting the committee, you're making the DDA the committee and all the other boards I'm on. If the board is doing committee work, they try to break it out to a committee. But I'm completely okay either doing either way.
Which I absolutely, I totally get that, because I've sat on this, on the downtown enhancement committee for a few years before I moved strictly over to promotions, which I totally understand. I think that with this though, I'm not sure. I mean, it seems to me like we've reached the end of what the committee can do in a productive manner with the meetings. You know, it seems like they've given a lot of good feedback and wants. And then I think at this point, it's coming to just approvals and getting the project done at this point.
And budget. What's possible.
Well, yeah, and which at that point, to me, seems like we've ended what the committee is able to do, and now the rest of it needs to be approved through the DDA and then go to the city. The DDA board. I mean, obviously, if there's a lot more committee work that needed to be done, then obviously we can revisit at that point, but I would second the motion to say that they've done everything that they possibly can and they've done a very good job. And now I think we need to move forward with getting a approval and getting it done so we could maybe look at getting this project finished.
Cool. So there's a second on the table. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So did you want to finish with your design element, Margo?
Well, I was just gonna show the
Is that the survey?
survey, yeah, and how it came down of what people, and I sent the survey to the entire committee, Merchants Walkway Committee, as well as the DDA to get input.
Did you get many?
That,
Did you get many responses?
we got 7, so that didn't include, the Merchants Walkway, and it didn't, you know, that's, I mean, we have 9 people on the DDA board, so. I'm assuming it's a mixture, but it means some people obviously didn't respond. So, as you can see, most people said that they wanted low maintenance gardens. There was a little bit of response.
Mayor?
Actually, we should probably redo that,
Oh, okay.
but we can go back, we can work backwards a little bit. I was just filling them in and went through a proposal for the Merchants Walkway. And the elements that were included in it. As far as now that the committee has met and, you know, what some of the elements that everybody kind of has agreed on that they would like to see in the area. And I'll just briefly go back over that for you, Matt. Low maintenance gardens, water feature wall, stamped concrete for the walkway surfaces with a brick paver add alternate to see what that cost would be. New lighting, benches, alleyway signage, and landscape lighting. And I was just looking at that. Jody did make a motion to move the discussion and planning of the Merchants Walkway out of the out of the Merchants Walkway Committee and back into the DDA. So we should probably redo that vote.
Have the Nolans been part of this design process?
We have,
Okay.
They haven't.
and I showed this was they went to their landscape designer and brought back a design from their landscape designer. We discussed it in the committee, and there were some features that some people did not agree with and some that they wanted added, and so they were gonna go back to their designer. I contacted her and she had not gotten a chance to do that. We will take all of the elements and go forward with Vanessa Warren from OHM, our designer, with what I think, is pretty much what most of the elements that we've discussed in the committee and in the group, but.
So everyone's relatively happy at this point.
There's definitely, the committee definitely has a lot of back and forth. I thought they were making strides going forward. They want to bring it back to the DDA, and I just mentioned that I think you're bringing committee work back to the DDA, and you're gonna take DDA time to do the committee work until that project, or you have a closer final design. But then, there are people that just want to come back to the DDA, so that's where it went from. The vote last time.
I think there's been a lot of time spent, and I don't think from what I've heard in the meetings that you're not gonna get 100% agreement on all of the aspects of the walkway.
And I just wanted to make sure that they were involved, because it's been a touchy subject for them. I'm fine with whatever.
Which is actually why I wanted to bring it back to the DDA board.
Well, and that was kind of what I had said before you walked in, not that I don't want to think that we're taking anything away from the committee. I think that the committee has done a very good job overall. But I think at least what I've heard with some of the meeting, the breakdowns of the meeting, it seems like at this point, we have some really great design elements. We've sent out a survey and there's some really good options on the table. And now to get this back and get a final approval from the board so we can move forward, getting the project completely done and not continuing a back and forth where it just doesn't seem like anybody's going to completely agree on what needs to be done at that point. Because I think that there's some really great design elements, and I would really like to see this project go through and see what the budget is, what we can even do, and then get it in front of the city so we could get it moving in the spring or as early as possible.
In my opinion, I think the committee was doing that. Was it hard meetings to go through and there was a lot of back and forth, but at the end of each meeting in the committee, I thought that we had gone forward to have steps that we were supposed to do and come back to the committee.
Right.
And at this point, I'm not sure why it's coming out of the committee, but a lot of people think it should, so.
Carry.
Do you want me to remake that motion? I make a motion that we move the decision-making for the old Merchants Walkway back to the full DDA board.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Nay.
So that's where we stand. I don't know, John, did you have anything you wanted to add? You're part of the committee, so.
No,
Wanted
I
to
think
give you the
the
opportunity.
committee has really taken it as far as it can. As far as input, you now have all that. I think the next step is for you to get with the designer. And combine the elements into what you think the DDA has requested and then bring it to the board for review. I think anybody on the committee is willing to help more, but I don't know. I think we've done the heavy lifting. I think you have what you need.
And thank you all for all that's said on the committee.
Absolutely.
Okay,
So finance committee?
so finance committee. The finance committee of Tim and Jody and myself met to set the 2023 budget. There was a public hearing on Monday where it was presented to the public, but we're gonna go through it and so we went through line by line. You can see where we were at in 2022. Yeah, the actual also as versus I don't know why this says 35. I think this might have, I'm not sure when Nick gave me this, but it came in at 61,000 for the property tip of actual. But so starting at the top, we've set the property taxes, the TIF capture at 62,000. That's only capturing from the city, the college, and the cemetery. That does not include the county. We go down to $46,000 in assessments, special assessment, 15,000 and Ice Fest, and then giving us a total revenue of 123,025.
Hey, Margot, can you change that figure to 61?
I can.
So we can just look at the. Thank you. I feel much better.
Okay, all right. Okay, so going into expenses, we budgeted for me, and that's the biggest thing to discuss, I guess, at this point. The first thing to discuss is budget at 32,000. When Nick put that in, the entire city staff was approved by Victor, a 6% raise in salary for due to inflation. We do not have to keep that, but that's what he automatically put it in as for me. So that's, you can discuss that after we go through the whole board. Then retirement, all that things. Then contractual services, we kept at 9,000. That's things like benchmark, any designers, anybody land, things that we need to contract with on some of these other projects, not necessarily for the Merchants Walkway as we go forward. It has been used to do the survey that Benchmark recorded and redid and things like that in this past year. Wayfinding, we put at 3,000. We're finding that we're having some ongoing expenses doing the directories, and then also every year, and then also just some repairs that we've had to do. So it's good to budget that in. We kept our expense at 15,000 for Ice Fest. We do project that we're going to be quite a bit over that in revenue, and so we should, but we wanted to keep balance there. We did put in for $3,000 for any other events that we would consider. That I know we've talked about some other things, but as they come up. Then we added $12,000 to the downtown enhancements with our budget, our income growing. We kept that, we increased that and made that a new line item just for things like we've heard a lot in our surveys about bicycle racks, benches, things like that. So that gives us some flexibility as to where we want to go with any downtown enhancements. Marketing, we increased. We'd like to get out and now get back in marketing the downtown. We did include $10,000 as we discussed in our development plan that we're now going to yearly have a fund for central business district sidewalks. And then this year we added we included the 20,000 for the downtown projects. That would be the Merchants Walkway. We have budgeted 50,000 for the Merchants Walkway, 30,000 of it coming out of our fund balance or by donation or fundraising that we expect. Audit expenses, legal expenses, and then DEP and programming is the IT here. 3,000 for education, training, and dues. We are members of certain organizations of Michigan Downtowns, and they offer webinars, and I'd like to start extending that to businesses and other people, as well as board members. But publications, liability insurance, other miscellaneous expenses, administrative fees, and then capital outlay. So that puts us at 119,950 in expenses. So we are up, and we are not, we're,
Have a balanced budget.
yeah, we have that.
And I'd like to point out that we're not actually showing any revenue is not the word. We're not showing a profit off of the Ice Fest.
No.
Which, and last year we were close to 5,000, but that's like the what if.
You have a question? Are we, and forgive me if this has already been answered, the TIF from the county, are we just walking away from that? Is that done?
We're not just, I mean, we are in discussion, right now, I was gonna pick that up in our, the director's report. I have reached out, to Jim Raymer, and he is currently, doing some consulting and looking around and consulting with us to kind of figure out what course of actions are available to us with the DDA at this point.
So it's not done, they just have to decide through council whether or not he would advise that that's something we want to pursue. If we want to pursue it, the DDA would have to get their own attorney to go to start that legal battle.
Yes.
And then consider that the funds, if they did receive those funds, it would pay for the attorney the first year, but then subsequent years, it would actually be money to the DDA. And that's, they're trying to figure out if there's a option for the DDA to do that. But we reached out to council to get direction on whether or not.
Yeah, because have we looked at that before? When Kathy was working through all of this and she was talking with the AG and stuff like that, has that been discussed?
Yeah.
before?
Well, after the Attorney General ruled that they would not rule or give an opinion between
Yes.
municipalities, it kind of got thrown back into our lap. So we
Yes.
don't have, that to be as, so that's why we're consulting now with the city attorney to see what our options are, what would be the best course of action, and try to get some opinions there.
Okay.
Margot, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought Kathy had told me that she did ask Jim how much, in his opinion, it would cost us to move forward on this, and it was upwards of $50,000.
At this point, it's upwards of 100,000 after he and I have talked.
Oh,
So then, once we have our options, then we'll bring it back to this board, and then the board can decide, do they want to spend the money to do that, or, I mean, obviously, the initial, if the ruling was in our favor, that initial year would go towards the attorney,
Mhm.
and then subsequent years would go to the DDA, but until we have better information on what our options are, then we don't have and then at that time, we'll bring it back to this board, and the board can decide whether they want to pursue it or not pursue it.
but can I ask, if we were to win, would that capture the previous years that we
No, I think
can't go
any discussion
retroactive?
at this point would be moving forward.
Okay, and we're looking at about 50,000 a year from the county.
At this point, yeah, the county to captures is approximately 50,000.
Nick did also comment, not that I'm against it, but it certainly would put a strain on the relationship. And he has to be concerned with the tax rolls that he relies upon the county, not that they can like withhold them, but it's, and not that I'm against it either, it's just something to keep in mind.
I think the next step is just to figure out what the attorney.
I would
take the
want to,
options are.
yeah, I'd want to hear from the attorney and whether, I mean, minus that, if the attorneys come back and say, yes, this is absolutely correct, or no, this is absolutely wrong, then I think before there can be any speculation for anything else, we just need to,
We need to stop
Wait.
talking about the county TIF capture. We've wasted countless hours over the last 5 years or whatever, and we're not gonna get it. We're not gonna be able to sue the county and get our money, so I would just give it up and work with what we have. You know, I mean, we sit here every month and talk about this TIF capture and waste whatever, a half hour plotting, getting the AG involved, all this stuff, and none of it's worked. And Raymer's gonna come back with more bad news.
Well, yeah, like I said, I think it would be interesting to hear what he had to say and then go from there and not have to.
But I say, you know, just move on. We're not gonna get anywhere with the TIF today.
Good point. Thanks for the input.
So,
For
yes,
the budget.
we need to go back to the budget, we need to discuss. If are we okay with everything? including
So the
wages?
next step would be if this board approves the budget as is, then this would be presented to the council for approval.
I think you guys did a great job. It's very, I mean, everything looks good. It's balanced. And we didn't lose anything, so.
So we need a motion.
Well, but I think you made a point that. So I just kind of quickly did 6% of the salary of 32,000, which would add 1,900 to it.
No, that 32 is included.
That's included,
That
she had said.
includes the, Nick just put it in across the board for all employees, city employees.
So it's already in the budget.
Okay,
I'd make a motion to approve the budget as it is been presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great.
Moving right along, the RRC update.
Okay, the RRC met, all right,
Last Friday.
last Friday, yes. And there's not a lot to report there, but, they did meet. They're working to create orientation packets for the council members, to explain to explain to the council, the incoming council members, the boards and commissions, their roles and their expectations. They are continuing to work to try to get some of the old documents off the website. And other than that, that's pretty much what they covered. I thought that would be a great idea for us to also create an orientation packet for our new board members too. I know I sat down with each new board member and kind of gone over the bylaws, but if there's anything else that we wanted to create or glean from that, I thought it would be a good idea.
Great idea.
So that's it for the RRC.
The RRC is doing good work, but it's just a slow,
It
it's a tedious. Everything that they're doing is really time consuming, the website, all of the discussion about the website, all that.
Yeah. Okay, so the director's update, we just discussed the DDA TIF update, and I'm currently in consultation with the attorney, but the city attorney. The special assessment, as we know, we're having the public hearing on December 19th at 7 before the city council meeting, or at the start of the city council meeting. Once the public has had the opportunity in the tax roll to hear Victor's report on creating the special assessment for us, then city council will vote as to whether, on a resolution to approve to continue a special assessment for the DDA, and just in the non-residential properties of the central business district. Do you have any questions about that? And if you get, we've been getting a number of emails and things like that, because it was budget time that came out. So if anybody does have questions, just direct them my way about either the TIF, the budget, or the special assessment. The only other thing is the financial update, and I'm sorry, this month you guys are just getting it in this form because I didn't. As I said, it really hasn't changed. We've come in just under 62,000 now. We did have a higher than normal delinquent tax interest. I don't think, but we're not going to rely on that for income. And the only other real changes have been to wages and then also to legal fees for the merchants walkway. But other than that, that's kind of really where we've stayed. Gives us our revenues, we're up $12,800 for the year, and then adding that to our fund balance. So we're looking pretty healthy at this point.
Is the survey under legal fees? Is that what the legal fees are?
It was partly to legal fees and partly to the contractual services with Benchmark, and then the legal fees, Jim Raymer, for handling all that with the county and doing the affidavits and everything for that.
Great.
That is where we are.
So the fund balance is actually cash flow. That's actual.
Actual.
I'm just
It's actual.
not expectation.
Yeah, well, that used to be like negative numbers.
Yeah, I know.
$3.
So that's actually good news.
$4.35.
Yeah. Looks good.
Anything else for your update?
No.
All right, other business, old business? If nobody has any, I have one. I've loved serving on the board for years. How many years it was? 6 maybe? But I also was a great partner in my firm, and it's taken me away from trying to do everything, and I had to take my duties to my clients is the most important thing to me, so I'm resigning from the board, the DDA board. And I just wanted, I sent Margot that, so she can get that to the mayor and can appoint somebody else as the chair, and I'll always be around, but I don't have the time to do it now.
Congratulations on your promotion.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you for
Thank you.
for all of your service. I think a lot's been done in the 6 years
Yeah.
that you've been on. So we've gone from, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That said, we need to consider, need to happen now, but we will need to consider officer positions heading into January. And at this point,
Meeting, right?
yes, we're also gonna talk about that. And at this point, Jody being the vice chair with Tim leaving, would be in line. So just as long as you are ready to consider that.
Why does everybody laugh?
We should probably wait until our first meeting in January. I don't know if any of you people's terms are expiring.
Jody,
Jody's.
we will have to reappoint.
Okay.
I'm
If you
expiring.
would. Otherwise, you're leaving us. Now Tim's leaving and it would be.
Yeah, so anyways, we'll have to replace Tim, and it's vote or the board actually nominates who our new chair will be. It's not a mayor appointee.
For the additional person, you would appoint an additional person, correct?
Yeah, council will appoint your replacement and reappoint Jody, and then in January we can go through the process of appointing a new director, or not director, chair.
Whoa,
Yeah.
wow, that was a slip.
Also just to add on that, heading into January, the 2023 meeting schedule. I'm gonna say that I would prefer it to be the second week. It works better for me between council meetings instead of trying to, plus I also tend to know what's happening, or if we need to go to council for something. It puts it in a better spot than the first week of the month. But as far as the day of the week, Wednesday or Thursday.
I just need a day that doesn't change. So I can put it in my schedule for the year.
Yeah. So I've liked Wednesdays this year, but I don't know if that works for everybody, if there's a more preferred day.
As long as it's consistent, like Nikki said, I can put it in for the whole year. Oh, if I'm
If you remember.
If I'm asked
You're there,
back.
yeah.
I mean, Wednesdays are fine. If we want to keep it the same, I'm for that. I would prefer not Mondays or Tuesdays.
Right.
But,
Not me either.
or I'm gonna have my granddaughter with me at meetings, so.
So we'll say Wednesdays, is that at this point, the Wednesdays at the we'll set the schedule in January, but Wednesday, well, right now we'll say Wednesday, the second Wednesday of the month,
Did we move to 8:30 because of?
me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Getting Henry to school?
yes.
Got it,
Children.
got
Yeah.
it.
All right, and we mentioned the Boardwalk fundraiser, and the only other thing is that Kiwanis Winter Days will be starting back up with more information to come. Other than that, we don't have anything other than I wanted to say thank you to Tim for all of your service on the board. It's always been interesting. It's been fun and interesting.
It's been a dream of his and now it's fulfilled.
Check it out in the bucket.
I can move on.
Mayor, are there still tickets available for Friday?
There.
Get your tickets.
You have
I've reshared
have you
it.
had a good,
Good turnout.
good,
Yeah.
I'll see you
Yeah,
there if you
it's,
go.
Are you going, Jody?
yeah, I,
Cool.
yeah, so the only problem, I think we picked the wrong weekend, because it bumps into a lot of other Christmas events.
I don't think you're gonna pick up.
The second's tough,
The fact that it's a Friday night is a win in my book.
right?
is it,
But other than that.
is there a big, is it like a concert night at the school or something?
No,
Oh.
but just, Christmas parties and family stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard every excuse under the sun why people can't come, so
I heard a rumor their pistol whips will be there. Is that true?
that is true.
Wow.
They are super good.
And there's a dance floor for you, Tim,
Yeah, that's
just
dance
waiting, my
Yeah,
friend.
great.
Any
You ever
other?
watch Ally McBeal,
Let me see if there-
That was
any
a
other-
visual, I really didn't.
Any
let's see
other
if there's any
public comment?
A
Anything,
comment?
anything going on at the chamber?
No.
I'm sorry.
No, we're not doing anything. No, year end. We've put together next year's calendar. And end of January, we're gonna bring all of our requests to the city.
Hey.
The same and more, just a little bit more. But I don't think we're gonna shake things up a whole.
Who's the incoming president?
Incoming, thank you. Incoming chair is Elaine Warner. And vice chair is Brandon Leesma, who is with First Community Bank. Staying as treasurer is Derek Brown. And then secretary is Abby now Wilson, Nearkin. So, and our new people, we have 4 new people. That's a really great group. Rebecca Adams, who's admired in Harbor, so she's uptown, which is great representation. Doug Brown, who is the photographer that is at everything that we do.
Oh, I always thought that was Doug Brown.
There's 2
Like-
Doug Browns, and they're both associated with Birchwood. It's really
Oh, okay.
ridiculous. Different Doug Brown, not Candy Wynn's Doug Brown. And now I'm gonna drop blanks. Elaine Kaiser, architect. And our 4th. It's another woman. Oh, Barb Woodward, Perry Farm Village. She's the director of Perry Farm. So it's a really great group of people who are super engaged and excited. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think Perry Farms is doing an open house soon.
they had their official ribbon cutting on Saturday for the Memory Center. Those of us who were afraid they'll be there went and saw. It's beautiful. It's really cool and 20 beds, but lots of open space. Yeah, they're very happy to give tours to people, so.
Did you pick out your room?
Well, I'm reserving in the other area first.
Oh, okay.
Totally lost my mind.
All right, well, if there's no other public comment, let's call for adjournment. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Tim.
You're welcome.